Iron Danger is gonna run you probably somewhere between 10 to 15 hours depending on how much experience you have with those kinds of games. I finished everything in about 12 and the game itself is very linear. We will be taking on one level after another, which will provide a variety of combat encounters for us to overcome, but there is not really much in the way of side content or extra narratives to explore. It's essentially just a linear story with some basic progression system. On top of this unequal combat system, the combat system sees us somewhat controlling the flow of time within a short window. This allows the game to mix up sort of real time with pause and turn-based combat, where we can quickly iterate and try various combinations of abilities over set periods of time that the game calls heartbeats or every half second, and that mechanic is crux of the experience. So if what I describe here does not sound interesting to you, safe to say you probably won't like the game. Now, in terms of a story, we play as a young woman known as Capuna, who sees her village attacked by Nuzlanders, or more technologically advanced enemy, coming from, of course, the north, and Selvan people as they go wildly fleeing for our life. We fall down a pit being impaled on a magical shard. This shard seems to belong to some sort of being rooted in Finnish fantasy, but this being a shard we fell on effectively saves our life, while at the same time granting us magic, so we are kind of impaled by it for the rest of the game. After escaping to the sort of main capital, we are sent on a mission to collect more of those shards, as their power might just be the key to tuning the tide. And now that's all I want to say story wise, but I pretty much does what you would expect. It's very linear, like I said, and while it's interesting enough, when the game starts to really pick up and get interesting is when the game is over, which currently to me seems like I might have a sequel planned. So with this being an indie title, hard to say it if we will ever actually see that. Now, in terms of progression systems, every time we complete level 1 of our potentially 3 characters, will get an upgrade to one of their abilities, and those are set per level. You will get to pick an upgrade for a particular character at a particular point, so while you will get to choose exactly what abilities to upgrade, the fact remains that and those upgrades are what you have available, so the progressions is very simple. There is nothing like equipment or any other system at play here. This is pretty much it. Now your main character, as you advance the story, will actually pick up more magic shards that grant here more abilities, but that's more story related than anything else from there. Let's actually talk about the combat system a little more in depth. As I mentioned, is its time manipulation mechanic, while at the same time being a sort of puzzle system when you start a particular level, most of which are pretty short. By the way, you are looking at maybe 10 to 15 minutes. Usually the game makes an autosave, so you will be able to reload at every single level if you want to try again from scratch, or if something gets wrong further back than you can account for, but most of the explorations of levels is done in real time. However, once you start fighting enemies, you will likely once your enter your trance mode, which is your time manipulation mode, which is going to enable you to rewind time back up to 5 seconds. This will let you iterate on various combat encounters or specific options they are in that will potentially prevent you from taking damage. The timeline will show you exactly when you take damage, how many sections of time individual actions will take you, etc. So mastering that particular part of it is a big deal, but then there's also a tactical element to things as well. You will be able to pick up various things like explosive barrels or Molotov cocktails to throw at enemies and sort of direct fire. There's also the social environmental effect to deal with, such as falling trees, stones, etc. So when you are facing a large group of enemies, you might want to talk for voice.